This is a witness account drawn from real events. A story told in complete detail for you to listen, drift into the unknown, and fall asleep. November 5th, 1975. That's the night everything changed. The night I disappeared for 5 days. The night I was taken. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened aboard that ship. Every detail I can remember, and some I wish I could forget. We were heading home after a long day of work. 7 of us, logging crew in the Apaches Icrivs National Forest, northeast Arizona. Cold November evening. The kind of cold that seeps into your bones after you've been swinging an axe all day. We'd been clearing trees since before sunrise. Exhausted, sore. Just wanted to get back to town. Get some food, maybe a beer. Mike Rogers was driving. He was our crew chief, my future brother-in-law. Good guy, solid worker. The truck was an old International Harvester. Loud, uncomfortable. But it got us where we needed to go. 6 of us crammed in the back. Me, Mike, Alan, Dallas, David Whitlock, Ken Peterson, Steve Pierce, and John Goulet. It was getting dark. Maybe 6:30, 6:45. The road we were on wound through the forest, narrow and rutted. Pine trees on both sides. We were maybe 12 miles from the nearest town, Snowflake. Nobody was talking. Just the sound of the engine and the tires crunching over gravel and dirt. Then Mike slammed on the brakes, hard. I lurched forward, caught myself on the seat in front of me. What the hell is that? Somebody said. I don't remember who dot through the trees. Maybe 100 yards off the road. To our right, there was a light. Not like any light I'd ever seen. It was glowing, golden, pulsating, too bright to be a campfire, too big to be a flashlight. And it was hovering. Stop the truck, I said. Mike pulled over. Shut off the engine. We all just stared. The light was coming from something in a clearing. I could see it through the gaps in the trees. My heart was pounding. I knew what it had to be. I'd been interested in UFOs my whole life. Read books about them. Talked about them with friends. Never thought I'd actually see one. I'm going to check it out, I said, reaching for the door handle. Travis, don't, Mike said. We don't know what that is. But I was already out of the truck. My boots hit the ground. The air felt different, electric, like right before a lightning storm. The hair on my arms stood up. I started walking toward the light. Behind me, I could hear the guys yelling, telling me to get back in the truck. But I wasn't listening. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I had to see what it was. The forest floor was covered in pine needles and fallen branches. I stepped carefully, quietly. My breath came out in white clouds. Every step closer, the light got brighter. I could feel a low vibration in my chest, a hum, deep and resonant. Not a sound you hear with your ears, a sound you feel in your bones. I pushed through some low-hanging pine branches and stepped into the clearing. And there it was, right in front of me, maybe 50 feet away, a disc, hovering about 15 feet off the ground. 15, maybe 20 feet in diameter, 8 or 10 feet thick, smooth, no seams, no rivets, no windows. The surface looked metallic, but it was glowing, like metal heated in a forge. Golden yellow light emanating from panels all around the rim. It was the most beautiful and terrifying thing I'd ever seen. I took another step closer, then another. My hands were in my pockets. I was trying to look calm, but inside I was shaking. Part excitement, part fear. I stopped maybe 30 feet away from it. That's when it started to react. The humming sound grew louder. The disc started wobbling, tilting on its axis, like an unstable top winding down. The glow intensified, became brighter, almost blinding. The vibration in my chest increased. It felt like my ribs were shaking. I heard shouting behind me. The guys in the truck were screaming at me to get back. To run, I started to turn, started to head back toward them. That's when the beam hit me. A column of blue-green light, maybe a foot wide, shot out from the bottom of the craft and hit me square in the chest and head. I heard a sharp cracking sound, like a gunshot or a bullwhip. The impact lifted me off my feet, threw me backward. I felt like I'd grabbed a high-voltage power line. Every muscle in my body locked, seized. Couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't scream. Then everything went black. I don't know how long I was unconscious. Time had no meaning. When I finally came to, I didn't know where I was. My eyes wouldn't focus. Everything was blurry. I was lying on my back on something hard and cold. A table, maybe. The air was warm, humid. There was a curved ceiling above me, metallic, smooth. Soft amber light coming from somewhere I couldn't identify. No visible light source, just a general glow. My whole body hurt. My chest felt like I'd been hit by a truck. Every breath was painful. My head throbbed. I tried to sit up, managed to prop myself up on my elbows. That's when I realized I wasn't alone. 3 figures stood maybe 5 feet away from me. At first, my brain tried to convince me they were doctors. I was in a hospital. I'd been in an accident. These were medical personnel, but they weren't. They were small, maybe 5 feet tall, thin, disproportionately large heads, Hairless, the skin was grayish-white, smooth, almost translucent. I could see veins beneath the surface. But what stopped my heart were the eyes. Huge, almond-shaped, dark, completely black. No whites, no irises, no pupils, just solid black, glossy surfaces that reflected the amber light. They were staring at me, unblinking, expressionless. I tried to speak. My throat was dry. My voice came out as a croak. Where am I? What? What are you? They didn't respond, didn't move, just kept staring with those enormous black eyes. Panic hit me like a physical force. Adrenaline flooded my system. I sat up fully. The room spun. I swung my legs off the table, stood up. My knees almost gave out, but I forced myself to stay upright. One of the beings took a step toward me, raised a hand. The hand had 3 long fingers and a thumb. The proportions were wrong. Too long, too thin. Stay back, I shouted. My voice echoed in the small space. They didn't stop, kept approaching, moving slowly, calmly, like they were trying not to spook a frightened animal. I looked around frantically. There was a small table or counter nearby with instruments on it. I grabbed something, a glass or metal tube, held it like a weapon. I said, "Stay back." The beings paused, tilted their heads slightly. Still no expression, no fear, no emotion whatsoever. I backed toward what looked like an opening in the wall, a doorway without a door. My heart was hammering so hard I thought it would burst. I kept the tube pointed at them, kept backing up until I was through the opening and into a corridor. The corridor was curved, followed the shape of the ship. The walls and ceiling were the same smooth, metallic material. The floor felt warm under my bare feet. I realized my boots were gone. I was wearing just my jeans and shirt. No jacket, no socks. I ran. Didn't know where I was going. Just ran. The corridor curved around. After maybe 30 feet, I found another opening. Another room. This one was larger, maybe 15 feet across, circular. In the center was a chair, but not like any chair I'd ever seen. It looked grown, not built, organic, like it had been shaped from living material and then hardened. The surface was smooth, but slightly flexible. In front of the chair was a large panel or console. The surface was covered with hundreds of small lights. They looked like stars, different sizes, different brightness levels. Some were white, some yellowish, some faintly blue. They were arranged in patterns that almost looked like constellations. I approached it slowly. My hand reached out, touched the surface. It was cool, smooth. The moment my fingers made contact, some of the light shifted, moved, Others brightened. The whole pattern changed. I jerked my hand back. Whatever this was, it responded to touch, maybe to intention. I had no idea how to operate it, had no idea what it controlled. A sound behind me. I spun around. 3 figures stood in the doorway, but these were different, taller, maybe 5'10", 6 feet. They looked almost human, almost perfect features. Symmetrical faces, smooth skin, brown hair. They were wearing one-piece suits, tan or beige-colored, form-fitting, no seams, no zippers, no pockets. Their eyes were different from the small beings. These eyes looked human, hazel-colored, normal proportions. But there was something wrong about them. Too calm, too knowing. Like they could see right through me, into me. One of them gestured. A simple motion with his hand. Follow us. I didn't move. Couldn't move. Fear had me rooted to the spot. The figure gestured again, more insistent. The other 2 spread out slightly, blocking my escape routes. I realized I didn't have a choice. I followed them, back through the curved corridor, into yet another room. This one had a table in the center, just like the first room. My stomach dropped. I knew what was coming. No, I said, backing away. I'm not getting on that thing. Whatever you're going to do, I'm not. 2 of them moved fast. Faster than should have been possible. They grabbed my arms. Their grip was strong, unyielding. I fought, kicked, screamed, but it was useless. They lifted me like I weighed nothing, placed me on the table, held me down. The third figure picked up something from a tray, a clear mask, connected to a tube or hose. He brought it toward my face. No, don't, please. I was begging now, thrashing, trying to get free. They pressed the mask over my nose and mouth. I tried to hold my breath, tried to resist, but I couldn't. My lungs burned. I had to breathe, had to. I took a breath. The air tasted sweet, metallic, wrong. The room started spinning. The figures above me blurred, became shadows. Then nothing. Darkness again. When I woke up the second time, I was lying on pavement, cold, hard, rough. I was on my back, staring up at a night sky. Stars everywhere. More stars than I'd ever seen. No moon. I sat up slowly. Every muscle in my body ached. I was on the side of a highway, middle of nowhere. Pine trees on both sides. No cars, no lights. Just darkness and stars and silence. I looked down at myself. My clothes were on backwards. My shirt, my jeans, everything was reversed. My boots were missing. My socks. I was barefoot on cold pavement. I stood up, stumbled, caught myself, started walking. I didn't know which direction. Just picked one and started moving. My feet were numb. I could barely feel them hitting the road after what felt like hours, but was probably only 30 or 40 minutes. I saw lights ahead. A gas station, small, old, single pump. I ran toward it. The payphone on the outside wall was my target. I picked up the receiver. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely dial. I called my brother-in-law, Grant. He lived in Snowflake. "Hello." His voice sounded far away. "Grant, it's Travis. I need you to come get me." "Travis, where the hell are you?" "Do you know what? Just come get me. I'm at the gas station on Route 277, about 30 miles out. Please." I hung up, sat down on the curb, waited, shivering, confused, terrified. Grant pulled up maybe an hour later. He jumped out of his truck, grabbed me, hooked me. "Travis, where have you been? Everyone's been looking for you. They thought you were dead." The guy said, "How long?" I interrupted. "How long have I been gone?" "5 days, Travis. You've been missing for 5 days. 5 days. I thought it had been a couple hours, maybe, but 5 days." He drove me back to Snowflake. The whole way, I tried to piece together what had happened. I remembered the light, the beam hitting me, waking up in that room, the beings, the mask, then waking up on the road. But there were gaps, huge gaps. Hours I couldn't account for. Maybe days. When we got back to town, it was chaos. Police everywhere, reporters, my family, the guys from the logging crew. Everyone wanted answers. Everyone wanted to know where I'd been. I told them what I remembered. The craft, the beings, being aboard the ship. They looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Some believed me, most didn't. The police questioned me for hours, took blood samples, urine samples, examined me head to toe, found nothing. No drugs, no alcohol. I'd lost 12 pounds, had a small puncture mark on the inside of my arm. That was it. The guys from the crew, they backed up my story. They'd seen the craft, seen the beam hit me, seen me disappear. They all took lie detector tests, passed them, every single one. But people still didn't believe. They said we made it up, that we were trying to get out of our logging contract, that we wanted fame or money or both. They called me a liar, a fraud, a hoaxer. But I know what I experienced. I know what I saw. I felt that beam hit me. I looked into those black eyes. I was aboard something that wasn't from this world. 4 years after, I had nightmares, flashbacks. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, feeling like I was back on that table, feeling those hands holding me down, Seeing that mask coming toward my face, I went through hypnosis, trying to recover more memories, trying to fill in those gaps. Some things came back, fragments, images, but there were still hours I couldn't remember. Things they did to me that my mind won't let me access. I've spent almost 50 years living with this, trying to convince people I'm not crazy, that I'm telling the truth. Some days, I wonder if it would have been easier if I just kept my mouth shut. If I'd told everyone I got lost in the woods and didn't remember anything. But I can't do that. I can't pretend it didn't happen, because it did. And somewhere out there, they're still flying around, still watching, still taking people. I think about those 5 days constantly. What else happened that I can't remember? What did they do to me while I was unconscious? Why me? Why did they take me specifically? Were they studying me? Testing me? Did that beam nearly kill me and they had to intervene to save me? Or was I always supposed to be taken? Was it planned? I don't have answers, only questions, and the memory of those eyes. Those huge, black, unblinking eyes, staring at me, looking into me, seeing things I don't even understand about myself sometimes. Late at night, when I can't sleep, I go outside and look up at the stars. And I wonder if they're still up there, watching, waiting, deciding whether to come back. That's my story. What happened to me in November 1975? 5 days that changed my life forever. 5 days that proved we're not alone in this universe. 5 days I'll never forget, no matter how hard I try. I was taken aboard an alien spacecraft. I saw beings from another world. I experienced things that science says are impossible. And whether you believe me or not doesn't change what happened. It doesn't change the truth. My name is Travis Walton, and this is what they did to me.